骰子，骰子，骰子，
bait, targeted,
骰子，骰子，
clear, bait,
骰子，骰子，骰子，3、2、1，
targeted, bait, targeted,
骰子，
clear, bait,
骰子，骰子，
bait,
骰子，
bait,
骰子，骰子，
clear,
,3、
clear, bait, bait,
骰子，骰子，骰子，骰子， 骰子，骰子，六骰子，骰子，骰子，六骰子，
Dodge.
骰子，
3, 2, 1.
骰子，
AoE.
骰子，
Dodge.
骰子，骰子，骰子，
Dodge.
骰子，
3,
骰子，
2, 1. AoE.
骰
Dodge.
骰子，三、二、一，
Dodge. 3, 2, 1. AOE.
« 骰子，
Out. Dodge.
骰子，
Out.
六骰子，
Dodge.
« 骰子，
Dodge. Dodge.
that they had those 2 deaths for that Arcane Mage to kind of shine and take that Peacekeeper out, but I feel like we should be looking at Stamp here. Rixa has been defeated. You can see their tank has grabbed all of the mines, and this is a very familiar sight where they're now trying to deal with them. You still need to make sure that none of these actually do connect to any of the players, but thus far it is looking like most of the ones that are on the DPS are going to be cleaved down. It's only the tank ones that mostly remain, and one on the Rat Paladin as that War Machine now also enters the fight.
Yeah, this one had been pulled from near the top of the hill, walked all the way down, and they've got most of these mines dealt with before they even have to start worrying about this War Machine outranging some of its first charge shot casts. Now they're having to deal with those, but most of the mines are taken care of. Now we're just dealing with the mines spawned by the War Machine, and of course those specialists shooting out those barrages. But this should be great for Stamp's count. Should get them most of the rest of what they need here. Yeah, they're going to be at about 95% after this War Machine goes down. 96.5 even. They would need a lot of mines to do it with mines from here, so I think they're probably going to fight one more, maybe specialist with some mines, or maybe another War Machine. Maybe they'll just fight the double War Machines. They don't need that much count, but...
It could.
You know, let's see what they decide to do, because they don't have Shadow Meld on their tank, so... You know, don't really have an option
I forgot
besides
about
fighting
that.
it.
I think we don't have many options then.
Yeah, all right, so we're just going to go over
It's become
count.
so normal that I just kind of thought, oh yeah, surely we're going to be skipping it. But no, I remember, yeah, Stamp's tank actually just going for Dwarf instead and says, yeah, what's 2 War Machines? What do you mean? We're just going to be playing these as they're working away on that very last pole. Now, checking in with your timer. The +3 is slowly but surely moving over the line as we are looking at this poll. But for the +2, you're looking really, really good. And we're now kind of starting to see the side-by-side between Stamp and Jegu. Now, like I mentioned, Jegu does kind of pull in a different pattern. So we can't take these boss splits at 100% comparison, but I'm quite curious on where they're going to be landing on all of these and how it's going to fare up with the final dungeon run timer for them.
Yeah, I'm also very interested for Yegu Cheering Squad to see that comparison. As Stamp actually are going to lose their healer to a mine where we brought the War Machine in at the end to this boss. And unfortunately, Cheering Squad to see that comparison. Yeah, I'm also very interested for Yegu Cheering Squad to see that comparison. As Stamp actually are going to lose their healer to a mine where we brought the War Machine in at the end to this boss. And unfortunately, that means our healer is going to go down. Now, the B-Res is available. Looks like they're waiting until after this Gatling Gun cast to accept the B-Res. Come right up and hit that Convoke to really help top everybody back off. And unfortunately, the Ret Pally is going to have to run out here. Oh, but to really help top everybody back off. And unfortunately, the Ret Pally is going to have to run out here. Oh, but unluckily, healer goes down again to the micro missiles this time. Luckily, another B-Res has become available, so we've still got one more B-Res. One more death would be okay. Any more after that would start to be really bad.
The first one was on the team. If you're a healer and you died to the mine, usually you don't have a lot of options to actually keep that one under control. That's where you flame your team. But dying to the mini missiles, that unfortunately is on you. So now it's once on them, once on you. This time we're going into bear form just to make sure that if we're maybe standing in something, it won't hurt as much. But this mini missile was definitely survived by Stamp's Restoration Druid as they are slowly but surely making path through the very last boss here in the Mother Lode. And on the right hand side, Jegu has arrived at Azrock as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a good thing to compare the timers on, because you can see Yegu Cheering Squad were they were about 10 seconds slower than Stamp on the coin-operated Crowd Pummeler split. But it's a little bit disingenuous to compare that directly, because I think these teams have pretty different routes in terms of where they're gathering that trash. So I guess we're kind of just going to have to wait until we have the end of dungeon timer to really get an idea of how fast these teams are relative to each other. Again, also remember, Stamp are playing off specs right now. They're going to be swapping to main specs soon and maybe getting a huge power spike off of that if they are more practiced on those, whereas Yegu have been playing main specs all day. So if Stamp are somewhat close to Yegu, even ahead with their off specs, once they get over to those main specs, it's going to be great news for them. Maybe okay, it looks like they barely managed to get that last boss aimed on top of one of those pylons. A little close there to having to do an extra 15 seconds of waiting around. But yeah, looking good for Stamp. The 2-chest timer is looking great. They still have a battle res if one more healer or somebody were to die. So their Warlock burning rushes to get in under the group into this safe spot here. It's a very dangerous safe spot because it's really only a very small space that never gets hit by those micro missiles in this area. And often by playing here, if those robots are close to you, you can think you're safe and then just instantly get killed, which is what happened to the healer before.
It definitely happens. So every time they're really close to you, that's where you're kind of counting the grid in the mesh on the floor to make sure you're really in the actual safe spot. But 8% to go. This boss is dead on my screen. There's no way they're going to be wiping from here as Stamp does take down this plus 16 Motherload with a plus 2. And then the bottom right, I did kind of want to check in on Moonkin Cooker because I believe Tettles is coming back in here to, switch with me. I'm going to be going on break, but I pose one more question before I leave. How are you feeling about their timer?
Moonkin Cooker's timer?
Yes.
I think this timer is looking fantastic. I mean, they're going to have the boss probably killed off around maybe the 21-minute mark, and I think that this is more than what you need to be able to do this. So I would say that they're cooking. Yeah?
Very good. Very good. You enjoy your cast. I'll be back later.
Drynos, how do you feel about Stamp not 3-chesting the ML?
I'm a little bit concerned for Stamp, but on the other hand, I keep having this reflex of like, oh, this is looking bad for Stamp. But then you got to remember, they're playing off specs. They probably didn't practice too much of low keys with their off specs when you think about the fact that aside from today, they only will need to play higher keys on their main specs, right?
Yeah.
So we can see they're already making a swap here, our Stamp. We now have the Mage joining the group here.
Oh yeah, Tianzhu is Mage main as well. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not super surprised that he's finally
Looks
now
like they're keeping
sort of
everybody
swapping
else on alts for one more run, which should be good. You can this way, you ban your 3 most used specs, so you could do one run with
Scheiße.
1 or 2 people on mains while the rest still play those alts.
I'm still
And
so
here comes that run.
astonished that they're playing Dwarf Warrior.
Yegu having 2 deaths in this section of the dungeon here, this alchemist section of the dungeon with those masterminds as well. This pack is still very healthy as they're going to try and death run it. I don't know if this is going to work out though for Yegu Cheering Squad. These mobs still have a lot of health, and players as they're running in here are in some danger of just getting picked off one at a time as they keep running back.
We can still time the key. Can we 2-chest the key is kind of an interesting question. I think the answer is still yes, even with 4 deaths, but you can't let this spiral out of control. And like you were kind of saying, this is a pull that's really easy to spiral out of control. Now they're actually jamming down the Solar Beam with the Chaos Nova, and it looks like they're going to be able to recover here, but that was a little bit of a blunder.
Scheiße.
And now if they have too many more of those, then they can actually start to getting in potential timer trouble where
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
AoE,
骰子，
dodge. AoE,
骰子，
dance. AoE, spread.
3、2，减伤，
Dodge. AoE. Dodge. AoE.
骰子，
Dance.
,2 减伤，
Dodge. AoE. 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 Switch. AoE.
,2
AoE.
骰子，
Dodge. AoE.
骰子
Dance. AoE. Spread.
3、2、骰子
Dance. AoE. Spread.
3、2，减伤
AoE.
子
We. Spread.
3、2，减伤
Dodge. AoE. Dodge. AoE.
骰子远离
Dance. Spread.
3、2，减伤
Dodge. AoE. Dodge.
毒刃
Yeah, I think it's, again, the off specs really explain a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's a big factor. The combination of, like, you probably haven't practiced these dungeons as much as the other dungeons, because these
Sure.
dungeons are your day 1 dungeons. You probably practice your day 2 dungeons more as one of the top teams. You probably don't practice your off specs too much either. And you know, the key levels themselves you probably aren't too worried about, because today is probably the only day you're having to deal with 16s, right? We know that the day 2 is going to start on 17s, at least if it matches the Western region rules, which I think it does. And then presumably global finals, we don't know for sure what the key levels on that are going to be, but historically they've often also been at that 1 or 2 key levels higher, especially because, you know, corruption and turbo boost will be in play in those global finals. So all of those factors might mean that, yeah, we're seeing Stamp at their absolute worst at the start of the day, still being slightly faster than the other teams, and it's only going to go up from here for them as they, you know, start getting into those dungeons that they have more practice at, those key levels they have more practice at, and their main specs that they have the most practice on.
What are you expecting to see today? Like 58, 59, 60, something like that?
Yeah, I think so. With the way that it's been going, if you 2-chest the 16, time the 18, and time the 19, that's 3 runs in each dungeon, which is kind of the amount that you get in the day. And,
Yeah,
maybe you
hour and a
reset a
half
couple of these runs. So if you do really well, maybe you can do 120 and 2 19s, which would be 58 points.
Yeah.
I think, 57, 58 would probably be good enough for top 2. And then maybe you could get to 59, 60. 60 would mean
Triple 20.
like either 2020 or 2019.
Yeah.
Which I think it's possible for these dungeons, but I don't think it's possible if you're only 2-chesting the 16s. You just don't have the time to push the dungeons up that high.
I think you have to be 2-chesting the 18s.
Yeah,
To be making it to triple 20s.
This Motherload is maybe in 2-chest range for Stamp, but the other 2 keys were not for them.
Yeah.
They're gonna sneak past Rick's Flux Flame here, grab one of these War Machines and take it straight into the boss. Yeah, I mean, if they 2-chest this 18, then they swap over to their main specs, they probably have time to do something like 20, 19, 18, something like that.
Well,
and
21.
maybe do the 21, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, there's just not a lot of time left in the day is the thing. We're already halfway through our day.
Yeah.
So this is currently their 6th dungeon run that we're watching. So maybe they'll have time for 4 more after this, maybe 5. There's just not a lot of possibilities for the score to go that high, given that they haven't succeeded in 2-chesting the 18 Floodgate. I think would have been really big for them. The good news is none of the other teams did either, so Stamp are still in good shape to stay ahead of the competition here. But yeah, I don't think they're going to hit the ceiling on most of these keys. I just don't think there's time in the day to do that.
I mean, that's part of it. The dungeon starting at 16 as opposed to the
Right.
17s that we see during the final day, right? During like the Sunday play, typically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's pretty typical that you see Floodgate was capping out at a 19. Motherload, whenever we had it on Friday and Saturdays, was only capping out at a 20 as well. I don't think we saw